Good morning, boys and girls. Today's Wednesday, June 3rd. And here's the story of the week. The Stone Garden, written by Sherry Yukowski and illustrated by Miki Sakamoto. Realistic fiction takes place in a setting that seems real. This story takes place in a yard in a big city. What can happen when someone has a new idea? All right. Mayoko sat on the steps of her new home. This yard needs a garden, she told her dog Puggy. The yard was boarded on all sides with homes like hers, except for 3 old tires and a few empty crates. It was as cold and bare as the moon. The caretaker walked by. "Hello, Momo girl," he said. "Mr. B, is that your land?" "That is no man's land," Mr. B said, "because no man has the time to do anything with it." "May I do something with it?" said Miyoko. Mr. B shrugged. "Why not, as long as it does not make more work for me." The first thing this poor, unwanted yard needed was a cleaning, Miyoko decided. So she picked up every bit of litter. She swept and re-swept the ground clear. Then she and Pochi made a game of piling the tires in one corner and taking the crates to another. Next, she filled her pockets with all the stones they could carry. Now she was ready to plant. She used an old spoon her mother gave her to dig a furrow. Into the furrow went stones. Plop, plop, plop. She gently covered the stones with earth and watered them with a coffee can. Then she sat down and wished and waited. By now, everyone in the complex was watching her. From behind their curtains, some girl called, "That silly girl!" But they were curious. One by one, they came outside. "I've planted a stone garden," Miyoko answered everyone who asked. What is she planting, boys and girls? Right, she's planting stones. Let's see what happens. A stone garden, ha, said one man. Miyoko smiled and kept working. The man returned a while later. "Here," he said gruffly, and handed her a potted yellow pansy. Miyoko thanked him. She replanted the pansy in the ground, and they both stood back and admired. Later, a young woman stopped by and asked Miyoko what she was doing. "I've planted a stone garden," she said. The young woman laughed, but as Miyoko continued to weed and water, she went away and returned with a gift. "They are tulips," she explained as she offered a bag of bulbs. Miyoko thanked her and planted the bulbs all over the yard. Oh, what did this woman give her? Tulips. She planted them. I wonder what will happen when the tulips grow. And so it went. Every day something was different. Mr. B lent Miyoko a hose. A pair of little apple trees appeared. One day a neighbor left a butterfly bush with red blossoms. A basket of herbs showed up beside the vegetable crates with a small stone lion to protect them. There's the lion. As the stone garden grew, Miyoko met more and more of her neighbors. Chairs popped up like mushrooms outside of people's front doors. In the evenings, people would sit and visit. Some would help Miyoko take care of the garden. Oh, wow. Look what's happening, boys and girls. Isn't that nice? Wow. Miyoko loved the trees and shrubs and flowers, but she was most excited about the vegetables. She almost burst with happiness when one morning it happened. A tender sprout unwound itself and poked its head out of the soft dirt. "Oh!" Miyoko cried. She ran to share the news. Everyone came out to see the small miracle. Wow, she's growing vegetables. "Who would have believed it?" said Mr. B. "Who would have believed you could grow such a garden here?" Miyoko knelt down to gaze at all the living green things. "Who would have believed you could grow from a pocket full of stones?" Right? She was just planting stones, and her neighbors saw her doing that, and they helped her and gave her other things to plant, right, boys and girls? Wow, they really worked together, right? All right. That is the end of our story. And I didn't give you a worksheet for this story this week, but I have a couple questions I'd like you to just answer aloud. Pretend you have a garden. What would you plant in it? What would you plant in it? Would you plant beautiful flowers? Would you plant tulips? Would you plant sunflowers? Would you plant vegetables? There's so many amazing things you could plant in a garden, right? So I'm going to think about that. Why, this is another question I'd like to ask, why did everyone first laugh at Miyoko's garden? Is it nice to laugh at someone else? No, it's really not. But why were they laughing at her, boys and girls? Right, because she was planting stones, and they thought that was silly. They didn't think anything could come from stones, right, if you plant a stone. Right? Is it nice that they laughed at her? No, but they helped her, right? They gave her different seeds, and they gave her flowers and tulips, so they helped her, and they gave her different things that she could plant to grow. All right, boys and girls. Awesome job today. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for listening to the story of the week. Remember, wash your hands. Love you. Bye.